Can the Gig Geezer start a new winning streak? Let's check it out on this segment of the Gig Geezer. Well, it is the start of another week. Today is March 28, 2022. And the Gig Geezer is starting at zero again in many ways now. A, because it is the start of a week. B, because the Gig Geezer's winning streak, if you will, having earned $200 or more each time he would go out and work a full day, meaning that I was out for both the first and second half hustle. That streak came to an end yesterday, March 27th, and that was after 44 days. If you're a baseball person, you can relate. You can associate 44 days to Pete Rose when he had a 44-game hitting streak back in 1978. Although Pete Rose would say that he did whatever he could in terms of helping his team win, Pete Rose was also a very selfish person, and he went as far as bunting in the ninth inning to try to get on base, being fully aware of his hitting streak. Well, the Gig Geezer never done that. The Gig Geezer always went out going for the win. And so what had happened, yesterday was one of those days where I just didn't have it. And today I don't have it. But I'm out here again because the goal is to make money. Yesterday, the first half also took me 4 hours, and I finished at $110.02 if memory serves me correct. And then yesterday evening, I was out for 2 hours. And I was at $76 and change, $76.22, somewhere in there. And then I had to end the hustle because of some personal matters that I had to address. And so I never got back out, and the streak ended yesterday at 44 days. Altogether, I made $186 and change, and for the week I was at $1,372. So yeah, when personal matters called, I was in position to quite frankly to finish at $1,400 for the week, having worked 6.5 days last week, and also to hit that daily goal of $200. But while I go out every day with the expectation of making my daily goal, when certain things come up, money doesn't matter. Money isn't everything in that respect. There are days that I've not gone out because I've listened to my body, and I said and the reason is that what's $100 in the greater scheme of things? So in the greater scheme of things yesterday, what was $35, $40? It didn't really matter. I don't anticipate this being a ride along for the day. This is more of just kind of updating you on where the Gig Geezer is on things. Sometimes what I realize is when you're building a social media presence, you're also building a relationship with the people who follow you. And that's what you're hoping for. And I believe that one of the things that endears people to you is how they can relate to you, or how you can relate to them. It's not so much as you always presenting yourself in such a way to show your glowing accomplishments or what have you. It is really about you relating to people, interacting with people. And so I get that. And so I welcome your comments. Hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, and share my content among others. And again, I welcome your comments. There was something that came to mind as I actually completed this first half hustle today, Monday, March 28, 2022. And it's really very simple. Now, I've shared in several segments of the Gig Geezer in which I've said I've made $200 a day consistently for almost the last 2 years, and I've made $6,000 a month rather regularly doing gig economy work, and that's doing hustles of DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, Bite Squad, Instacart, Roadie, Point Pickup, and a couple other apps out there. And I've often said that you have to treat this as a business. But what's really mind-blowing, what's really humbling about it is that the type of money that I'm making, you just can't go out and apply for a job and expect to get paid that type of money. If you make that type of money, you probably have to be on that job for a while, or you have to go through a lot. And you don't have to really go through a lot when you do this type of stuff. I've shared that I used to be a newspaper reporter. The largest market I worked at was Richmond, Virginia, which at the time was considered the top 2% of the business. And what I'm basing this on is that when I worked in Richmond, Virginia back in the early 1990s, there were at the time 1,500 daily newspapers. Based on daily circulation, was in the top 2% among the top 100 newspapers in the country. It was about number 75, somewhere in there. But in order to make that type of money in a lot of professions, tell me what professions in which you can make 75,000 a year, as I am doing in gig economy work, and you don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have years and years of experience in your profession. Basically, all you have to have is the will and desire to make things happen. And there's a good chance that you could be, over a period of time, be making the same type of money if you're starting out. And if you're in this and you're looking to be motivated, hopefully this will motivate you. That's something to think about. That's also to say, too, that the gig economy is not for everyone. And you'll find out whether it is for you or not. Because the fact that this is not money that you can actually just count on every single day. The only way you can count on this money made is that you get out there every day and make it. Also, another factor is that you have to deal with the apps in terms of contract violations, and probably is more self-imposed though, but you have to deal with the time element, especially if you're trying to juggle apps as I do, or work multiple apps as I do. Then there's a time element, and if you don't get the orders there in a timely manner on a consistent basis, that's going to trigger the algorithm, and you may get a friendly, well-written email advising you to pick things up, or you may get a friendly, well-written email advising that you've been temporarily deactivated or deactivated altogether. So there's pressure in that. But I think the biggest thing is, when you're doing what separates people in doing this gig economy work, is the fact that because you can't count on it, that means that you have to go about things in a way in order to make it happen on a consistent basis. And that's what I'm getting at. I don't go out here thinking that I'm going to make $200 a day or more. I go out here with the expectation that I'm going to make $200 a day. The expectation being the goal, the target. And fortunately, I've been able to do that on a rather consistent basis. But this all factors in. Think about that. What job you can go out there and make this type of money, man? What job? I mean, if I were an insurance agent, that's a lot of policies that you'd have to write. I'm talking about maintaining a book of business that's anywhere between $500,000 and $750,000. That's a lot of policies, I promise you. As I mentioned, newspaper business, you have to really prove yourself in the business to get to a market to where that will pay you that type of money. Typically, that's columnist or editor type money, or you've been there a long time. I know of someone who's the best in their profession. I'm thinking of someone I know that's at the best of their profession. They've been doing that for almost 30 years and are making the same type of money that I'm making. That person has a college degree, and like I said, almost 30 years experience in at the best of what they're doing. They're making the most that they can make. Also a lot of jobs, you make $75,000, you've topped out on a pay scale. Now, is there room for improvement doing gig economy work? It's possible, but I guess the only way that you can improve yourself is if you diversify your income and you start doing other things. But hopefully what I'm sharing is piquing your curiosity. And by the way, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others. And I welcome your comments in the section below. Now, as I went out here today, I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like going out there yesterday. I didn't feel like going out there the day before and the day before that. There's a grind that takes place with this, and the grind is typically mental. A lot of folks don't talk about it though, but there's the mental wear and tear of being on point for the amount of time that you're out here every day. There's the mental wear and tear of concentrating on that road driving. There's the mental wear and tear of being aware of the amount of money that you're making, the money that you can make with the orders that you accept. There's the mental wear and tear of the anticipation of orders coming across your screen. Now, I understand now why some people accept the orders that they accept a lot of times, even though I call them thirsties. But when you're out here 20 and 30 minutes, you hadn't seen a decent order come your way, it may force your hand to make certain decisions. And then that's where there's a test of your willingness to wait it out. Now, I'll give you an example today. I didn't start my hustle, at least I'm talking about my first half hustle, in which I have shared that I just finished. I left my house a little later than I probably should have. And it took about 20 minutes before I saw a decent order come across my screen. And it happened to be an unusual combination in which there was a DoorDash shop and pay order, and then there was an Instacart order, which I accepted. The Instacart order was only 2 items, and it was at a Kroger, which was down the road from the other place, which is Lowe's. The Lowe's restaurant paid more. It was 24 items, paying $23.09. The Instacart was 2 items, paying $17.69. So I rushed down to Kroger, got those 2 5-gallon jugs of water, then rushed back and shopped those 24 items at Lowe's, then went and dropped off the Kroger order, which was like right down the street from Kroger, and then went another 15 minutes in another direction and dropped off the DoorDash order, which happened to be to someone that I've completed deliveries on multiple occasions, typically on DoorDash. Now, after that, there was a little lull in action, but not much. And then I happened to catch a Bite Squad order that paid $9.81. But then there was another lull again. So what I'm getting at, there's also the uncertainty of when those orders are going to come across and what are you going to do. This is why if you've noticed previous segments of the Gig Geezer, if this is your first time, hey, thanks for checking it out. If this is not your first time, you've checked me out on multiple occasions, or you're a regular follower, thank you for checking me out. And by the way, again, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. But what I'm getting at is, you go a while waiting for orders to come across your screen, and that's on a daily basis. Man, that can wear you out. But the gig economy can be rewarding in some ways as well. If you can make it work, it can raise your standard of living somewhat. It can pull you out of the ditch, the financial ditch that you may be in, or it can put you in a position to do other things. I mean, the vehicle that I'm sitting in right now is primarily the result of the gig economy. In fact, I got another vehicle that's just a few feet away. That's also the result of the gig economy. Basically, the gig economy had put me in a position to where it brought me out of, from a credit standpoint, being a bad credit risk to a pretty decent credit risk, almost now to a very excellent credit risk. I'm close to getting there. I am grateful for the gig economy in that respect, and also treat it with that type of respect as well. But I'm not the only one who probably would share this type of information though. But again, this segment of the Gig Geezer is a little different, and hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully it may have enlightened you, it may have informed you, it may have educated you, hopefully it may have given you a different perspective. But with that, I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle continue. Thank you for checking out this segment of the Gig Geezer. If you reach this point, it means that you've checked it out in its entirety, and it's very much appreciated, and it tells YouTube that you're very much engaged in my content. Hey, If you'd like to get in contact with me or pass on some other useful information, I can be reached at giggeezer3.5@gmail.com, or you can check me out on Twitter at giggeezer.